Hey, welcome back. It is a terrific Tuesday indeed. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. Now we do what no other show on television has the nerve to do. We mix it up. We bring in every single day a Republican and a Democrat. We talk about the news of the day. We have thoughtful conversation, and all voices are heard here on Liquid Lunch. Beth DeFalco, Kevin McCullough join me today to mix it up, guys. Thank you very much.
What's up, Johnny T?
Ladies and gent. We're going to cut in quick on the impeachment hearings. Let's see what's happening down there, and then we'll do some commentary on that.
Okay. National Security Council and the White House. Are you the only one of the entire universe of our government or otherwise that can advise the president on Ukraine? Couldn't someone like Ms. Williams also advise on Ukraine? It's in her portfolio.
That's not typically what would happen. It would be, frankly, it would be Ambassador Bolton.
So other people can advise on Ukraine besides you. Going on in your testimony, you said, I understand all the nuances, the context, and so forth surrounding these issues. On my judgment, I expressed concerns within the chain of command, which I think to me, as a military officer, is completely appropriate, and I exercise that chain of command. Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, on your deposition, page 259, you said, I forwarded my concerns through the chain of command, and the seniors then decide the action to take. Mr. Morrison's your senior. He didn't know about it. How can he decide an action to take? But that's what you said. In Mr. Morrison's deposition, page 60, the question is, at what point did you learn that Lieutenant Colonel Vindman went to Eisenberg? He said, about the 25th phone call? He said, yes, in the course of reviewing for this proceeding, reviewing the open record. So the next question, so Eisenberg never came to you and relayed to you the conversation? He said, no. He said, Ellis never did either? Not to the best of my recollection. So Mr. Morrison was skipped in your chain of command about your other concerns. So Mr. Morrison said he's the final clearing authority. He said he saw your edits. Do you remember if all of the edits were incorporated? And he said, yes, I accepted all of them. That's on page 6162. So he believes all your edits were accepted. Let me ask you, were in your edits, did you insist that the word demand be put into the transcription between the conversation of the two presidents?
I did not.
But you did say that in your opening statement today. Thank you, and I yield back.
Ms. Spear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you both for your testimony and your service. Colonel Vindman, wasn't it the case that Mr. Eisenberg, the attorney,
live anchor coverage of what's happening down in Washington with Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. Beth, I say that we know the Senate's not going to ever impeach the president, in my view. Isn't a lot of this just theater?
I don't think it's theater. I think it's necessary. If you don't do this, then you tell the country that this behavior is acceptable. Regardless of the outcome, this is about making sure that people and the president are held accountable to the Constitution.
Funny, I'm still looking for a constitutional violation. I mean, when he says, I need you to do us a favor, in the transcript that we already have that's been released weeks ago, he spends 504 words saying, and this is what I mean by that favor. There was intense scrutiny of interference in our 2016 elections. We would like to know what the Ukrainian position was in or pertaining to that. And then at the end he goes, and by the way, that Biden thing, maybe you want to take a look at that. There was no quid pro quo. There was nothing here that was traded for any type of service or act. He delivered the aid 20 days before he was legally required to do so. And at the end of the day, there is nothing here.
Was he caught?
There is nothing.
He only delivered the aid after he was called out for withholding the aid.
He could have withheld the. No. First of all, this is a lie. He didn't withhold the aid. He had until September 30th to deliver the aid, according to the law, according to the appropriations law. He delivered it on 9/11. He had 20 days yet to go before it was there, and he did it anyway. There was no investigation open. There was nothing that went down. And here's the amazing thing. Donald Trump is the one person in all of America right now who doesn't need dirt on his opponents to win an election. He's going to win an election in 2020 based on the 87 promises that he has kept to the American people. He doesn't need money. He doesn't need votes. He doesn't need a message. He has all the things that the Democrats are lacking.
Well, he also lacks logic. Like, let's not pretend like this isn't the narcissist in chief. It's not like for some reason he's going to do what's logical ever.
All right, well, let me ask you this. We're talking about, beating them at the ballot box in some issues here. We got the big debate coming up tomorrow night. Pete Buttigieg bounces to the front in Iowa, but usually these front runners get knocked out of the box at some point. What does Joe Biden have to do to get control of his campaign tomorrow night?
I think he just needs to talk more about his vision right now.
What is he running, like 5th in Iowa right now?
I don't even think that matters at this point in time. I mean,
Well,
to be honest with you, there's so much is going to change. So much has changed in a short amount of time.
Here's what I'm not sure of,
You don't have
John.
Bloomberg in. You don't have, any of the other folks that are probably going to jump in plenty of things.
Yeah,
are gonna
Duvall and Bloomberg, but Bloomberg's going to get like 0%, and he's going to be out before South Carolina. Here's the problem. Biden is putting all of his eggs in the South Carolina basket. But if you lose Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, going into South Carolina, you've already lost the narrative. And I think that Elizabeth Warren, love her or hate her, I don't particularly like her policies. I think she's got the best ground game. She has by far the best policy game published. She's put her positions out there more than anybody else. And this is where the whole thing's going to come down.
That's when she started going down, when she put up positions out there pretty
She's
clearly.
had them out since day one.
I know, but I'm saying people start looking at
But
Medicare plans and stuff.
she's not doing bad. And you got to remember, the base for the Democrats has shifted. AOC is now the face and the philosophical heart of where the party is. The young, progressive, liberal, very far left. And California comes right after South Carolina, and by the end of California, you have so many delegates already assigned. It's not a done deal,
But it's
it
tough.
may as well be.
Beth,
I agree with you. I think that Elizabeth Warren has momentum that
Yeah,
is
no,
moving
yeah, I
forward,
think
and
she took a
Biden's
step
momentum is
back.
moving backward.
Yeah, I think Bernie's still the sleeper. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
he's got that steady base. They
Well,
know
his
what he's
ba-
about.
His
They're not
base has
going
been
away.
ticked since 2016.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, if he doesn't get the nomination, I think a lot of them stay home in the general.
No doubt
I
about
think
it.
they're just really
No doubt
angry
about it.
that they
So
were.
let's go to the
cheated.
other guy. I think you said it right, Bloomberg. Everybody had high hopes. He comes out with this apology for stop and frisk. I think it just buried his campaign right out of the box.
I don't think so. I think when you talk about where the party is
Yeah,
right
the
now,
AOC people love this.
It was necessary. Also, things have changed. When he left office, everybody thought crime was going to go up, and Mike Bloomberg's a data guy. What's the saying? In God I trust, and everyone else bring data. And
Crime has gone up.
not anything substantial.
I mean, if de Blasio wasn't fixing the numbers and what
Well,
he's
yeah,
reporting.
they're not reporting a lot of crimes here in New York City. But just this last note, I'd like to try to find one thing we could agree on sometimes. The guards who were on duty when Epstein allegedly committed suicide are
Right.
now being tried
For what?
in New York for
Documenting.
dereliction
Cover-up.
of duty
Right.
and creating face records and stuff.
I don't care about
The
that.
cover-up.
Like, if they need to go to jail, send them to jail. I want to know who they were working for, what pertained to it, and what led up to. I want to know all the details about why they doctored those records.
Is it still a lot of questions not answered with this guy?
Good
You don't
riddance.
care.
I
Good
don't.
riddance.
Yeah.
You sound like Ilhan Omar when she tweeted
No.
that
It is.
Peter
It's fine
King.
that Epstein's dead. Like, I don't
Yeah.
shed a tear for that. But for the justice of the families that were involved, we need to know who offed him and why.
I'd like to know at some point. I'd like you to stay right there because we got more of a whopper of a show coming up. Senator Jim DeMint leading off hour 2 today, talking about his new book, Conservatism: What We Need to Keep. I want to thank Beth DeFalco, Kevin McCullough for coming down, mixing it up with us. Thank you for being with us every day, noon to 2. Stay right there. We'll be back after this with Michelle Eskenazi.